The history of government and public debt across the world can be traced back to times when kings used to borrow from people to finance wars and special projects. In the recent years, especially after the effects of coronavirus pandemic, the government and public debt around the world, especially in the developed countries, are rising exponentially. This study wanted to evaluate what the effects are on the developing countries instead, who usually follow suit without necessarily doing their own analysis on the effects of debt and rising debt servicing to their own GDPs. The hypothesis for the study that's utilized is that rising debt does hamper economic growth, and the data that was used was obtained from the World Development Indicators from the World Bank database, and 144 observations were found in the sample period. Data was subjected to a random effects model of panel regression to obtain a statistical significance between different variables, holding GDP per capita as the topic of interest. As you can see in the figure, the general government net lending and borrowing as a percentage of GDP has been going down over the years for South Asian countries. Almost all of them follow this. And results obtained through the model regression shows that debt servicing is significantly important to the changes in GDP, whereas debt itself is not. So what does that conclude? That means that countries can, in fact, borrow now and worry later. However, to accentuate the impact of debt, countries can choose to facilitate higher levels of debt servicing in order to achieve a higher level of GDP per capita. The significance of debt servicing, but the insignificance of debt levels is in contrast with existing literature that suggests that debt servicing has no effect on economic growth. However, this study finds that there can be up to 135 units of increase in GDP per capita following a single unit increase in GDP debt servicing, and debt itself has no impact on South Asian countries as it stands. Thank you.